In this review, we will continue with the wider Commonwealth Universe as imagined by Peter F. Hamilton and will start to delve headlong into the Void Trilogy, which is the second series set in this literary universe. Its first entry is the novel The Dreaming Void. This 630-page book was published in the year 2007 and it exhibits a sci-fi hardness that would be comparable to butter in most of its chapters. Furthermore, one of its main plot lines is definitely more akin to full-on fantasy, which is not necessarily a bad thing, don't get me wrong here. The already rich Commonwealth universe that was set up expertly in the two novels that comprise the Commonwealth Saga, Pandora's Star and Judas Unchained, is even further expanded. In addition, a sizable amount of new and intriguing ideas are introduced. Furthermore, The Dreaming Void sports a vast cast of characters, some that were already main or at least side characters in the preceding books of the Commonwealth Saga, others that are new to the series. Similar to most of the other books that make up the whole Commonwealth universe, there are no indications of any awards or even award nominations. In terms of popular reception, The Dreaming Void scored a respectable combined rating of 4.2 out of 5 stars based on thousands of reviews on Goodreads, Library Thing and Amazon. Currently, there is no news related to any form of movie, TV or streaming adaptation of any of the Void Trilogy novels. The story is set 1500 years after the events of Pandora's Star and Judas Unchained, in the 3580s. Humanity has expanded even further into the galaxy, colonizing thousands of worlds and sending out starships in grand expeditions. Moreover, technologies such as advanced bioengineering coupled with societal shifts related to the handling of the crisis during the Starflyer War have led to the development of several distinct cultures, even on a biological level, some more centralistic and bureaucratic, others focused more on individual freedoms and liberties. While this greater Commonwealth has experienced a golden age of peace and prosperity with numerous scientific and cultural advances over centuries, there still remains the Void at the center of the galaxy, a strange artificial universe created by aliens billions of years ago, shrouded by an event horizon more deadly than any natural black hole, gradually consuming the mass of the galaxy, which looms over it as the proverbial sword of Damocles. Even the ancient alien species of the Rael is not able to contain its expansion. However, the astrophysicist Inigo, who was studying the Void, begins to dream of humans who live within it. Inigo's dreams reveal a world in which thoughts become actions and dreams become reality. Inside the Void, Inigo sees paradise. These dreams are shared with millions via a neural entanglement wired into most humans, the so-called Gaia field. Ultimately, a religion is born with Inigo as its prophet. But then, he disappears. The main events of The Dreaming Void kick off once there is a new wave of dreams broadcast by a yet unknown second dreamer. These new dreams result in plans for a massive pilgrimage into the Void, something that might trigger a significant expansion that would be catastrophic to the rest of the galaxy. Unsurprisingly, the majority of humanity, and also several alien races, are not pleased with these developments, to put it mildly. Thus begins a race of various different factions to find this mysterious second dreamer, but also to find Inigo, the first dreamer, to stop the pilgrimage or to advance other goals. The Dreaming Void, and by extension the entire Void Trilogy, is solidly in science fantasy territory, with the plotline that is a recounting of Inigo's dreams basically as its own pocket fantasy story. Actually, at least in The Dreaming Void, this particular plotline centered around the adolescent Edeard in a medieval/Renaissance fantasy setting is in my personal opinion the strongest part of the book. The characters in this sub-story are more relatable and likable. Hamilton's world building also works wonders in a magical fantasy setting, especially with regards to how this pocket universe works, and the plotline itself is less convoluted than its counterparts set in the Greater Commonwealth. In contrast, the Greater Commonwealth plots are by no stretch of the imagination bad, but they do require a not insignificant amount of pages to really get going. Also, the world building is vast and interesting, yet somehow it lacks a sense of scale, especially compared to the previous books of this universe. There are some intriguing ideas, but mostly on a societal level, since the science of the Void Trilogy is now firmly in Magic Land, showing frequent use of technobabble and a potential power creep, where a hyperdrive is made obsolete by an ultradrive, which itself pales in comparison to the mighty megadrive, to exaggerate my point. Furthermore, some of the characters, specifically the agents embroiled in the cat and mouse game of the different human factions, can come off as somewhat robotic and bland. In contrast, there are characters that are also likable and relatable, specifically Araminta, who tries to climb up in the world as an independent entrepreneur, but gets thrown a curveball more than once. Interestingly, this type of character is nothing new for the works of Peter F. Hamilton. Basically, Melanie Rescurai from the Pandora Star and Judas Unchained books would fit into this role. But fortunately for us, in the case of Araminta, it is with noticeably fewer properties that could be categorized as annoying. Talking about tropes that Peter F. Hamilton uses, there are again several of them in the Dreaming Void, including influential plutocrats and oligarchs, a detective story, several secretive human factions opposing each other, from petty interagency rivalry to all-out conflict, portals and teleportation, redheads, preferably young and female, as well as technologically advanced aliens that might be benign, but do not share their secrets. However, there is one thing missing in the Dreaming Void that frequently is a central plot point in Hamilton's works, such as the Commonwealth Saga, Chronicle of the Fallers, Great North Road, the Night's Dawn series, or the recent Salvation sequence. That is, some kind of imposters masquerading as humans, but advancing the goals of a malignant and sinister entity. That is also a way to subvert expectations, I guess. Overall, the Dreaming Void is a solid first entry that continues the Commonwealth Universe, even though most of its science fantasy plotlines have a couple of pacing issues and take their sweet time to get going. In contrast, the pure fantasy subplot does not suffer from these issues, and it was motivation enough for me to keep on reading. In all honesty, this subplot alone could have easily been a good fantasy novel in its own right, thanks to a gripping story, likable and relatable characters, and an interesting setting. Hence, The Dreaming Void is definitely worth a read if you like the previous novels in the Commonwealth Universe specifically, which you probably should read first anyways. Also, if you like the books of Peter F. Hamilton more generally, or if you are interested in the science fantasy space opera of epic proportions that also happens to include a great fantasy subplot. Regardless of what motivation you may have, you will have to dedicate some time to this entire trilogy. If you liked this video, you may also enjoy the other reviews and content on my channel. Feel free to leave a comment if you want to discuss the novels or if you want to suggest other books that I should review in the future. Please consider upvoting and subscribing, it is much appreciated. Thank you for watching and until next time.